Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to my sketchbook. Well, not a sketchbook right now. In the last video, I would have shown you that I'd gone to McDonald's and picked up one of these tiny tan figurines. This one is of Jung or Young Cook, and that I had sort of made a rough profile and, you know, I don't know what you want to call this, demon marking sort of drawings, so that I could start this little project, which would be to draw that character as Jinu. And we're going to continue with that now to just add a little bit more to it. So I'm doing this in stages. The next one that I'm going to work with, or the next thing that I'm going to work on, is the eyes, to let them kind of dry. So I'm going with this very bright yellow to start. Get out this brush, and I'm going to get in there. So we already used white just so that we can let this sort of glow a little bit better than just using the darker eyes. See if that kind of shows up on camera a little bit. Although I'm going to do that split iris. I don't know if you want to call it like a shadow iris look. You might see it a lot in manga when drawing the eyes, but we'll see how that goes too. So the original character itself had that feature, and I'll go back to that, but I'll use like a different kind of yellow, but I'm using the bright yellow to start. And I preserved one pupil on one side, but really I don't know if there was a need of doing that because I'm going to paint in the eyes of Jinu anyway, so the pupils will be done separate. Now, you may not be able to see that as vividly, perhaps you do, but that is a very bright fluorescent yellow. I might as well just kind of fill that in a little bit there too, because the eye is going to be kind of separate anyway. Okay, so those are very bright eyes. A little bit more on this side over here. Okay, clean this brush. Put this one aside. Next, we're going to start the markings, and we're going to use these quick sort of references to do that. There's not a lot of room on this character, the figurine, so it may not go exactly. Not that this is exact anyway. I don't really always do things like that, but I'm going to kind of use more the profile when I get closer to the edge of the face down here. But front on, well, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to go across the nose a little bit here, and then under the eye. Okay. Interesting. This character, little character here that I'm painting, doesn't have a mean expression on their face, so there's no need of having a mean expression on Jinu either. Okay, and it goes kind of across the nose in a specific way. Okay. ganses under the eye. And then there's like another little one here that almost looks like a teardrop, but not quite. And then under that one is another mark going across the nose. And there's almost like a W. Almost. And that one kind of scoots under the eye here as well. I suppose there's going to be a bunch of people for Halloween who's going to dress up like Huntrix. So there's probably going to be a bunch of Romies and Miras and Zoes around looking for candy. So that could be fun. I don't know how many Saja boys we're going to see out and about looking for candy, but that would almost make sense, wouldn't it? Just out there looking for candy, singing songs about soda pop or what have you. Now, as I said, there isn't lots of room here, but we'll get the idea. And this is one of those things that if you did have a marker, you could test it out to find out, well, maybe it would work out pretty good. We're going to highlight the mouth a little bit here too, but not lots. Let that stay mostly in the shadow, but just like that. Next, we're going to have kind of a split lightning kind of look underneath the jaw here. If it'll allow me to do it, I don't see why not. I'm the one holding the paintbrush. That's the secret, of course, when you're doing this kind of stuff. It's kind of in your control. And if you're feeling cold and your hands are shaky, well, that's going to be the results you're going to get, I guess. I'm not cold, but for some reason, my hands almost have a little bit of a shake going to them. That is all right. I'm going to go from underneath the neck here, and let's move the... I'm going to kind of move up towards the jaw. Just like that. We'll go with another one kind of up to that corner of the mouth. And now a little kind of half one that runs up to the jaw. And now I'm looking at this side, which is a lot more complicated. So we're not going to see all of the markings up here on the forehead, for example. Most of the forehead's covered by the hair. which saves me a little bit of work, which is nice. I am going to draw in a couple little spots just for fun. This one has sort of a lining of the eye here as well. Underneath. And kind of a little drip right here. So okay, goes a little bit thicker here by the looks of it. A couple of little squiggly lightning bolts that run up and over the eye. This is an interesting project, though. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that in the background. That's my good buddy Neville saying, hey, it's been about 12 minutes so far. You're making okay time. Thanks, Neville. What a good buddy. I'm a big fan of that cat. Just picking on me for whatever reasons. So down here, I'm going to do almost like a fork. Like a fork in the road, but not exactly. And I'm going to let that join together here. Next, we're going to make this connect all the way up here. So some of you have maybe you've seen some of my other K-pop Demon Hunter drawings. I drew Rumi as a derpy tiger. That was kind of fun. The main reason why I did that was because I don't think there's any real collectible toys. At least I haven't seen them. And if they did have, a Rumi action figure, it would probably look more like, a Barbie doll or something like that. And I probably would not be buying that because I do not collect Barbie dolls. Nothing wrong if you do. I just don't. So it wouldn't be necessarily something that I would be looking for. And having that tiger would be awesome. So that's why I drew that the way that I did. Not the greatest excuse, I suppose, but just that is the reason. So off of this one, let's have another sort of elongated line, let's say, that runs up the cheek a little bit more. We're going to go from the neck down here. Another sort of lightning bolt tiger stripe. Which I wonder if that's what they're kind of supposed to be. Tiger stripes. That'd be interesting, actually. I should look into that. That could be one of those interesting folklore things. If you know, let me know down below, because that could be it. What are these based off of? Like, it's almost like veins. But it would be very interesting, actually, if they were based on tiger stripes. I'm almost done of this. We're going to thicken out that line just a little bit here. So yes, in the K-pop Demon Hunter playlist on my channel, you could find Sussy, who's the magpie that has 6 eyes. So I drew that in there. And I also had an idea for like a sticker as well. So there's a few videos in there, including the shorts of those longer videos are in there as well. So help yourself get a look. Feel free to subscribe and share and like and all that kind of stuff. And if you have other fun things that you'd like to see me kind of destroy or see my version of, just let me know, because I think, some of this stuff's kind of fun. My nieces and nephews will sort of bring me up to speed on certain things as well. So let's see. That's kind of the main thing going on with the marks. I got to put in one underneath here. It's kind of a little zigzag going on in there. Roughly. So I think that's kind of it. I'm just going to put in some little tiny marks on the back of the hand. I did no real look at those. So these are just sort of random. I don't know why I didn't think of looking at them. There could be very distinct patterns running off the hands, but haha, we don't have to have them. Okay, I don't mind that. We're almost done of that. I'm going to rinse this brush. Put this away. I'm going with a different yellow here. So it's quite a bit darker than the very bright stuff that I have on the eyes here. And the reason for that is I'm going to do that shadow eye sort of technique in the eye. And it's not going to be noticeable to anyone but you and I. So the darker part will just be the upper half of the eye. Silly, I know. It's a strange detail to put in. And as I say, you and I will be the only ones that will know, unless you look really close at it to see the tilted iris, the shadow iris. And we're going to let that dry in a moment. Then we'll put in the pupil after. Okay. Now, while that's drying, and we're almost done, put this away. Do. So we learned something valuable in the last video, and that was this base is an indicator of the color that's underneath here. So I was getting rid of the golden arches, which shows up on the front of Jungkook here. I was just getting rid of that, and then realized I was getting down to that sort of base plastic color, but not that big of a deal because we're going to get rid of it. Actually, let's go with a larger brush here to move paint a little bit quicker, and we're going to go onto the shoes here to start. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to find like a natural sort of crease that the brush can slide into without painting the base at the same time. It's okay if it does, because I will get in there after and scrape it if I have to get rid of the excess paint if I do let it overlap somewhere. So I can see that this brush may not really want to do it. Yeah, it's got like, it's close, but it's not that close. We do the other foot here, and we'll just quickly work our way up to the iris. Put in those pupils. So yes, tomorrow morning I will have another Inktober, and that one is going to be heavy as the prompt. Whereas today, which was fun, was reckless. So get a look at those videos if you want to see something that looks kind of messy. See what 10 minutes of doodling looks like. And if you haven't been involved so far, it's okay to start late. If you want to spend more than 10 minutes doing it, that's perfectly fine too. Okay, I'm going to get in here if I can. You may not see where I got that, but that's okay. So that's the shoes. It's not super duper tight in there. It's a little bit better, but I might use the other brush. Let's get rid of this. Now the Saja boys, they wear trench coats, and if I want, I could probably fake this a little bit, which I still could do by getting electrical tape. That would work to make it look like this is a long coat. But for now, we're not that worried about that. I'm going to just sort of give it a uniform bit of paint over where the golden arches once were. Not so complicated. Yes. Look at that guy. He's just doing cool stuff. It's a little bit. Yes. Oh, the tail of his t-shirt sticking out there. Let's get rid of that. Our Jinu is almost done. Now, I see an exposed part of the heel here. Let's see if I can get any part of that. Just a little bit. We're not going to worry about the sole of the shoe. I see a little bit of pink there. I can touch that up after. All right. That's not that bad. clean off this brush. I generally don't like to keep the water on the desk in case I spill it, so that's why you hear it, but it's actually sitting on the floor beside me. Next, we're going to put in kind of a cat eye. Let's see if we can get in here to look at this. Just like that. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Interesting. Okay. Let me think of one last, if there's anything else. No? Well, I know that there's sort of like a beaded thing that hangs from the hat. I believe there's something around here, but I do have like wire that I could possibly use, because how I built this this pen, I used a type of wire for that. I think I have gold, but I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna go back to the sort of the regular yellow here. Put this one away so that it doesn't dry out. Okay, and then we'll be done. Well, kind of. We'll figure that out. Because I remember there being like kind of a belt here. And as I say, I might just use like a piece of electrical tape and make the tail parts to the trench coat that the Saja boys wear. And this isn't really like a belt, but I guess you could kind of treat it like one. And I'm unfamiliar with what that is called, so if you know about that, let me know in the comments. It almost looks like something that you'd see priests wearing. Some sort of, yeah, some sort of like specialized symbols and something. I don't know. I'm just putting this here to indicate that I was aware that there was something there. It's not going to be exact. I believe there's some kind of like little talisman-like things. Maybe, I don't know. I did not collect that information. My memory is okay for a lot of this kind of stuff, but I did not really look at the outfits so much. I think there's also kind of, but not really, almost a collar up here. But I'm going to put just little marks on this to indicate that perhaps they're like buttons. And let's fix this cat eye up here just a little bit. It's just a little bit narrower. flip them upside down here for a moment so that I can get to that other side. All right. Final sort of things. I think that's probably good for now. I'll have to try to figure out well, I'd say that's pretty much it. Whether or not I do set up the trench coat, something that would elongate that, but it's probably good kind of as it is. I probably don't really need to go really any further than that. Last thing I might do though, and I may end up just painting over it. I have that, and that, and this. We're on the final sort of thing here. And that. So we have these colors out here. I may not need all of them, but we'll see here. I'm going to use my pinky as like a little resting spot here. I'm going to create, it'll be very light, but the upper part of the jacket. So as I say, there's kind of like a collar, but you don't have a lot of room on this figurine. You probably didn't really get to see what I just did there. That's only going to be noticeable by very few people. But I'm going to very lightly, see if that'll kind of focus on that a little bit. Just kind of differentiate that just a little bit there. Rest my pinky. Go underneath. It's kind of neat. The head of this thing doesn't spin, which is a nice touch. Like it won't go all the way around unless you really crank it. It will, but you don't have to. Next, well, I'm going to use this down here, and I'm going to very messily write out something, but I'm going to leave kind of space in here. My good buddy Neville the cat hasn't been back to scream at me to tell me that I'm taking too long, so that's fine. I guess we're okay for now. That went a little thicker there. I went with the lighter first because it's probably not going to be dry, obviously, when I go for the darker color, and I want those to be kind of a little bit different anyway. Set that down. I'm going to go with the purple, and then I'll be done for now. All right, and then we'll do kind of a quick little look at it. See if that'll kind of let me go in there just a little bit. So yes, I'd be very curious to see how, or even if it's going to be possible, what the next movie will be like and who will be in it. That's going to be very interesting. Because this movie was a surprise super shock of the summer. So I'm sure that they're going to work on another one and probably have a whole line of toys ready, because it was a pretty big deal, this movie. And I don't think they were ready for it. All right. That is it. I don't think we need to go any further than that with what we have going on. I mean, I could touch up some of the things on it, but no, I think that's okay. We got our buddy Jinu in his demon form, and no, I think that's it. Well, folks, thanks for hanging out for a minute. Well, more than a minute or so. And yeah, feel free to subscribe, like, share, comment, and come on back again. We'll see if we can have some other fun stuff on the go. All right. Ciao for now.